someone who has been doing wonderful work for a while now, though he's still a very young man. And this year, he has continued to explore and engage and challenge himself and challenge us as audience members. Please welcome our guest tonight, James Franco. You can quit now while you're ahead and go on with the rest of the evening.
I didn't know I was going to be talking tonight. I thought Seth Rogen was going to, tell a couple jokes, and I'd come up and get an award or something, and then we got dinner.
Sit back, relax. You're among friends. When was the first time you got paid for acting?
I did a show called Pacific Blue, which is basically Baywatch on bicycles. I had to ride a bicycle on it, and I was so nervous I couldn't even do that. But I eventually managed to ride from point A to B, and then I was a guy that was selling horse tranquilizers to bicycle racers.
Did you get encouragement from your parents in this pursuit?
No. Now I have all the support I could ask for from my parents. But no, I was at UCLA. I was an English major. Even that was like a compromise because my father, wanted me to be a mathematician or something. I remember when I said I wanted to go into, or I wasn't going to study math. He was really upset and said, "Well, who's going to help me make all these mathematic, discoveries?" Not me. And then I was, so I went to UCLA for about a year, and then I had three interests when I was in high school. Acting, film, art, and literature. And when I got to LA, I realized that half the city was, in the movie business. And when I was in Palo Alto, acting and film seemed like, it wasn't realistic. Like, I didn't even know how people did that. And then when I got to LA, I saw that, it actually was possible, or at least you could try. And so then in UCLA, I don't know, I wasn't in the theater department. I wanted to be. They said I had to wait to even audition, so I didn't want to wait. So I left, and I went to acting school. And my parents were not very excited about that, because, look, you look at it, on paper, I was leaving UCLA. I was living on a couch in Sherman Oaks. I didn't have a car, so I got a job at a place I could walk to, which ended up being McDonald's. And so, of course they weren't excited about it.
At the risk of sounding ridiculously simplistic, so what's it like being in the scene with Robert De Niro?
It was great. At the time it was a dream come true to be able to work with him. I just shot a James Dean film. I don't think it was out yet, and they might have seen it, or just before they cast me. But I remember I had to go audition. I had to go read with Robert De Niro for the movie, and he was promoting Meet the Parents, the first one. So it was in some hotel in New York, and all the posters were downstairs, and so I waited down there, and they called me up, and I went up, and it was De Niro and the director, Michael Keaton Jones, and then Michael like had to take a call, and so I just said, excuse me, guys. And so he went into the other room, and so it was like me and De Niro sitting there, and so many things like, you know, we want to ask him, but like, you just got the vibe, like, just, you know, don't talk. And it was really awkward. But then we read, and I guess he liked me. I guess it was good that I didn't talk because he cast me in the movie. And I went every day. The movie kind of revolves around our relationship between his father and his son. But we only had like a couple scenes together actually because I'm on the run. And but I would go every day and watch him. And I watched, for preparation, I watched every De Niro movie. Even there's like these movies he did with De Palma early on, Hey Mom, but like even before that, he's like this wedding movie, like he's like one of the groomsmen or something, like really weird. And so when we finally got to that scene, it was like there's been this big build, and it was great. I mean, it was great. He seemed to be into it. It was at the time like one of the best acting experiences I had. So we did this whole long scene. I had this big speech, I tell him about myself, and then he wants to take me in because I've killed somebody, but I don't want to go in. So I run, and so we went to do his coverage at the very end, and I was feeling really good about everything that I'd done, and. So they're doing his coverage, and I was like, all right, well, I gotta, it's De Niro's coverage, but I gotta really give it to him.
To explain, so they're going to shoot over your shoulder to him.
Yeah.
So you're not really in the scene anymore.
Exactly, but as an actor, if you're courteous, like you act just as well when you're not on camera. Mm-hmm. So I really acted up for him, and so we did one take, and he said, "Hey, that was great, but could you just don't do all that, just do it faster, okay?" And I was like, oh, sorry. I guess he didn't, meaning like, I guess he didn't need my,
Now, talking about things twisting and turning in life, unexpected things, that might have been you playing Spider-Man.
Yeah, could have been me.
Are you pleased the way things turned out?
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, no, I mean, it was whatever.
It's only water, folks. In the past year, one of the things that's impressed me is seeing you turn up in movies like the next two we're going to see, Date Night and Eat, Pray, Love. And
I haven't seen that.
oh yeah, you got to see a little piece of the movies.
Cool.
We talked before about advice. The pros and cons of whether you should take James Dean. Sometimes there's for a career there's conventional wisdom, and then maybe doing something unconventional. And some people might have said, playing a stoner in Pineapple Express was a risky thing to do. Did anyone try to discourage you from doing that?
Pineapple Express?
Good. Because to me, it's only the ultimate good. And it showed you had more range than we'd seen you do, because we hadn't seen you do that kind of comedy before.
Yeah. And
you're really good at it. But here...
It was crazy, the response, too. I mean, when I was at NYU, we had to make short films, and I decided to make my 3 short films based on poems. So I went out, I did 2 poems that were from poets that are still alive. And these are like, I don't know if anybody knows them, but like Frank Bedard, he's like one of our best living poets. He liked Pineapple Express. I mean, I think the reason he gave me the permission to use his poem because of Pineapple Express. Crazy that the kind of response I got. Yeah.
unpredictable streams from.
One of my favorite artists too is this guy Paul McCarthy, crazy artist, but he too, he's like, Pineapple's Express is my favorite movie. He's like, has shows at all the best museums in the world.
Tell us about your relationship with your director, Danny Boyle, and what did you look to him for? What was his role in your eyes as you were shooting this most unusual movie, where the bulk of it is just you?
Well, I can go on forever about that. Danny is the best. He's so great to work with. So to set it up, basically, I think there are two things that drive Danny Boyle as a director. He does movies that pull him out of his safety zone, that require approaches to movie making that he's not familiar with. So if you look at his body of work, every film is different, not just subject matter, but the way he approached those films. So with 127 Hours, he said to us, or so he told me, I want to do a movie where it's a character in isolation. And actually, years ago, he had another story where it would have been the same situation, a character in isolation. It was gosh, I'm screwing up, but it's a true story, I think, about an Irish journalist that was imprisoned and chained to a radiator or something like that. So he had it in his head, he wanted to do the story about that guy alone. But the other thing that drives Danny Boyle is he loves to make dynamic movies, he loves to entertain people, he loves to bring people together in this kind of environment and give them an experience. So when he took on the challenge of a character in isolation, he wasn't going to, settle with, okay, this is going to be a very artsy, slow-moving movie. No, he wanted to do a movie about a character that doesn't move and make it like an action movie and make it, dynamic. So what that meant was that he went into the movie, and he's also very open. So he went into this movie with a lot of ideas, but also gave himself the opportunity to find his approach to it as we made it. So we hired 2 DPs. The idea behind that was that they were allowed to shoot independent of each other. They were of equal stature. So normally you have, on a movie you have a first and second unit, but there's one DP and the other unit is subordinate. These were equal. So he wanted 2 different looks. It didn't end up being that way for various reasons, but he was going to have like these antagonistic DPs in a way. And also, he told me later, I guess he thought maybe I'd get along with, because I didn't have actors to work opposite for a lot of the scenes, maybe I'd, like one DP better than the other, and he could bring in the DP that I hated, like on days he wanted me to be upset. And it didn't work that way, because I like both of them. But, and then, one thing that we found while we were making the movie is that we could do these very long takes. And, we had these cameras called SI2Ks that he used on Slumdog Millionaire. And they're very mobile, and unlike a normal handheld camera that you either hold at the waist or on your shoulder, these things can be held at, at the extent of your arm, can kind of just go anywhere. And they're stable because they have gyros on them. And they're digital, so you can shoot for like 20 minutes, and we did for like 20 minutes sometimes. And the way I guess we found that is, there's a scene where the boulder has just fallen on my hand, and I try to dislodge it. And Danny said, yeah, just really do it, like beat yourself. I said, yeah, I'm gonna get beat up. He's like, yeah, you better, and don't stop till I say cut. And when he said cut, it had been like 22 minutes of just like beating myself up against that boulder. But we realized that, wow, that's the way to do it. That's the way to do these scenes. Not like, 20 seconds, like do that little movement. Mm-hmm. just really do these things that Aaron Ralston did. I mean, short of, you know, really cutting my own arm off, but like, when he throws the webbing up over the rock and has to tie the carabiner, just do it until you really do it. And sometimes it would take me like 10, 15 minutes to actually do it. And by that point, you know, I wasn't really thinking like about the character. I was just like doing it and really getting frustrated. So then he had this, it was a set for a lot of it. So Danny couldn't come in there and like give me notes very easily. So they built this speaker into the side of the wall. So he would talk to me through the speaker. So at those moments, there was like one moment where like I snapped at him. Because I was so frustrated, he didn't say cut for like 10 or 15 minutes, and I'm trying to try this thing, and my arm's trapped, and I don't know how to do carabiners anyways, you know, I'm not a climber, and you know, I'm swearing to myself, and he comes on the little speaker, like, you know, turn your head this way or something like that, and I was like, I guess just in the frustration of the character, but it was like really my frustration too, and I was like, all right, shut up, Danny, and I'll do it, or whatever, but it was, because there were no other actors, it was like, you know, everybody looks at me like, oh, how'd you do all the scenes without another actor? Wasn't it weird? And yes, it was. But it was weird for everybody. You know, a writer's used to writing dialogue between characters. A DP's used to getting coverage, you know, between characters. And editors used to having, you know, shots that he can cut between, you know, characters he can cut between. A director is trained to, like, develop a dynamic between characters. So everybody had to adjust to this. And so, in a way, it was like we were all sharing this character. I just happened to be the one that was embodying the character. So it was like they were all kind of jumping in my body or something like that.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Seth Rogen.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. I'd like to thank the people at Uggs for keeping the Australian nation's feet warm for many years. I've seen Kate Hudson wearing them. She seems to be fond of them as well. I owned a pair once. They looked feminine and made my feet sweat, so I stopped wearing them after that. This is the first time I've seen a theater built inside a Mexican restaurant, which was very nice. The margaritas are very good. I recommend them. It's very strange. I guess we're in the courtyard. That makes us the courtyard. This has been amazing. I've enjoyed this. I should talk about the first time I met James Franco, probably. I think I thought the first thing that a lot of his future co-workers and directors thought when they saw him, which is, I'd fuck the shit out of this guy. He's handsome, very friendly. I was 16 years old, I think, when we first met. You were like 20, which means I was like pretty sure you'd lost your virginity, which made you awesome in my book right away. One of the coolest guys I'd met at that point. You had a leather jacket. That was fucking rad. And honestly, one of the first things I remember talking to you about is we were on Freaks and Geeks, and we were both on this TV show, and you mentioned that you were still in acting class. And I remember thinking, wow, we're both on a TV show, and this guy's still in an acting class. What a stupid idiot he is. We've done it. We're here, man. We're getting paid for this shit. But no, he really wanted to keep learning stuff, which I thought was very weird at the time, but I've now seen that somewhat of an odd addiction he has, and we just all have to stand by and watch. He took acting incredibly seriously, especially for being on a TV show no one watched. He'd talk about his character like he was a real person. Daniel wouldn't do that. I remember he'd say that. That was a weird thing to say. I don't know what my guy would do, I have no clue. My guy would say this shit on this piece of paper. But even at the time, he was he worked hard. I remember I would write stupid scenes, and he would sit around and read them, and then as soon as we started smoking weed, he would leave, which was pretty funny. And then I remember our show started coming to an end. It was getting canceled. Scott Sasso was the guy's name who canceled it. You couldn't remember earlier. I don't know what he does now, but he's not up here, I guess. I remember talking to you actually, and you were saying that there was a James Dean movie that you may do, and I was definitely one of the people convincing you not to do that. I was like, that's crazy, yeah, I'm going to play fucking Laurence Olivier in a movie, that'll be rad. Siegel will be Orson Welles, and we'll all just go out and pretend to be great actors. I was totally wrong, he won a fucking Golden Globe, so, and that's when they were legit, so... Pre-network television Golden Globe. That's a whole other thing. Then he did some movies I never saw, Annapolis and Flyboys and shit. I didn't see those, but yeah, I did. Okay, I saw Flyboys because at the end you're on a blimp that's blowing up as you're running across it. I remember thinking, that's fucking badass. I don't care who you are. If you can run across a blimp as it's exploding, that's unbelievable. You actually learned how to fly in 1939 airplane for that movie, if I recall. No, that's not true. I just made that up. But I actually went years and years without seeing Franco, except in movies. So I did see the Spider-Man movies. That was impressive, I remember. And then it wasn't until years later that we ultimately met up to do Pineapple Express. And after hearing him talk tonight, one thing has become remarkably clear to me, and that is I should never have let him play that role in Pineapple Express. Because I'd be talking to fucking Leonard Maltin, and he'd be up here with his spot his ass for 2 hours, driving to fucking Santa Barbara to give this 5-minute speech, and I'd be nominated for an Oscar, and not him. So. We live and we learn, I guess. Maybe next time. He did do a great job in Pineapple Express, actually. He was very dedicated. He actually, there's a scene in the movie where he runs into a tree, and he actually ran into the tree and cracked his head open and got many stitches on his forehead, which is why his character wears a headband throughout the majority of the movie. And I remember thinking, like, that is badass. Like, I'd go home for 3 weeks if that happened to me, but he showed up the next day, and like my career isn't predicated on my looks nearly as much as his is, so it was very impressive. I think, I mean, a lot of people know he's amazing in the movie, and I think the one thing that makes his performance the most impressive is something that most people don't know at all, and that is the truth. Me and James Franco have never smoked weed together in our entire lives. That is insane. I've smoked weed around him around 4 million times. And I've blown it in his face a lot just to kind of try to, for the story, I guess, but it's never actually happened. So that alone deserves a second Golden Globe nomination. But they were on their way out at that point, so it's not, they'd gotten network. Well, you didn't even show up that year.
Yeah.
I was there. I don't know why. I felt like I got nominated because the fucking movie got nominated, but I was like, why am I here? Franco's not even here. That was weird. No one listens when you're there anyway. It's a shit show, the Golden Globes. Anyway. It's a little disorganized, that's all I'm saying. after we did Pineapple Express, we reunited to actually film a short film for Pineapple Express, and then we both presented at the Academy Awards together. Which just makes me think that I must have done a really bad job because I haven't been invited back since, and now he's hosting them. So, I don't know what that means. I thought I was funny. I helped write the thing, but I guess that doesn't count for shit. 127 hours is an amazing role for an actor, primarily because you don't have to work with any other actors. That, to me, would be huge. They're often the hardest part of making a movie. He really just, I mean, I gotta be honest, when I watch my friends in movies, often I have a hard time buying it. If one of my friends gets dumped or something, I just think it's funny in a movie because I know it's bullshit, or they OD on drugs, I just think of all the times we got high together, and I know that's bullshit. But with this movie, it was not bullshit, and that was evidenced by the fact that I almost vomited and shat myself while watching it. Because of how truly disgusting he was and amazingly sold I was by what he was doing. It was very incredible. And the whole time I'm thinking, like, it's Franco, he's not cutting his arm off. And then I would look, I'd be like, he's cutting his fucking arm off. James Franco is cutting his arm off. And it was disgusting. I mean, the truth is that in that movie, he really did the best thing that you could possibly do as an actor, in that he really made it seem like he was a dude with his arm stuck under a rock in the bottom of a crack for 127 hours, which was really, really impressive. I mean, I marveled at it, and for the 95% of it that I had my eyes open, it was unbelievable. My girlfriend tells me the other parts were fantastic, and he didn't blow it in those moments. And now he's nominated for an Oscar, which is hilarious and awesome, and I just think it's great. And he's hosting and he's nominated, and I'm not in any way jealous. It's just all you could ever hope to achieve as an actor and a comedian. And I have neither. So, that's fantastic. But in all honesty, I'm really glad I came here tonight, mostly just because of how embarrassed James has seemed for the most part. That Sunny clip took the cake for me. Did they have no shirt budget in that movie? They couldn't afford one fucking shirt for anyone in the whole movie. Nick Cage has been no shirts, man, the whole movie. No one's in the shirt the whole time. But in all seriousness, it's been a lot of fun, and I'm honored that I could be here to give you the award, which is the Outstanding Performance of the Year, and please give it up for my good friend, James Franco.
I don't know how to follow that, Seth. Look, if you can make yourself look like Anne Hathaway, I would love for you to come in. We'll take her out and you can come host the Oscars with me. You truly have been there at, like, the biggest points of my acting career at the beginning, and, you know, at the point when I didn't want to do it anymore, and you made me want to do it, so. Thank you so much.